I was joined from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by player 344 from Squid Game Challenge. My man, Robert Kelly, IT manager there with BetaNXT. We thank you so much for joining us from the Information Technology Career Cluster. And I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. This is our college and career readiness class. And we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County schools, Madison Central, Rosa Scott, Germantown High School, Ridgeland High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today, all the way from the Dairy State.
Yes, yes. Glad to be here. Yes. So thank you very much.
All right, so before we want to get into all your IT stuff, and obviously we want to talk about the show, but just give us a little background. You're originally from Racine, Wisconsin, and
That's
you have just a ton of IT experience. And the cool part of it is a lot of your IT experience is in companies that are not IT companies.
that is correct. That's one of the beautiful things about IT is that you get to see so many different companies and environments that, because it's the one field where it's everywhere. Probably like HR. You're going to be everywhere. You're going to see everything. I mean, I've been underground in mining sites. I've been in coal sites. I've been in hospitals. You name it, I've been there. I've been banking. You name it, I've been there because IT pretty much is everywhere. So it's really been a nice field to see a lot of different environments.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that now more than ever, and I
Mhm.
won't tell your age. We're close to the same age, but
Yeah.
now more than ever, IT people are becoming more and more needed across every
Yes.
platform. More and more companies are adding apps. More and more companies
Yes.
are adding IT and automation. So, and again, this is a field that, and even though this is a college and career readiness class, I'm all about giving kids options.
Yes.
IT is a great field to get into if you are a person that says, look, my family doesn't really have the money. I don't really want to go to college. I'm not a college person. I just want to start
Yes.
working. This is a field that loves people to have the certifications. You can go through a boot
Yes.
camp, you can go through community college, you can go through the military, and you can make six figures coming out of that pretty quick.
Yes, yes. That you hit on a very good point right there. IT is a field where if you need to make some decent money really quick, it's a great way to go. Great way to go. And matter of fact, that's how I got into it because I was just, messing around. I was a parts counter sales guy, and for a number of years, and I wasn't making a lot of money. I found out I was going to have my first daughter was being born. This was 27 years ago, and I said, "Oh my God, I need a job that's going to, help me buy Pampers and stuff and pay for the Similac. I know it's expensive." So yeah, I jumped into IT, and yeah, it pays the bills. It really does. And over the years, I've learned a lot of things about IT. Got a lot of certifications, and pursued my college career and things of that nature. And it's been a great field. I've seen a lot and done a lot, and I really enjoy the field.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that IT is a lot more diverse than people realize. So if you're a
Yes.
hardware person that likes taking things apart and repairing things, there's
Hmm.
always a need for computer maintenance people. There's a bigger need now than ever for cybersecurity. Something that
Yes.
I've learned recently is that IT companies are in desperate need of HVAC people to keep the server rooms clean. We need app developers.
Yeah.
We need engineers. We need help desk people. And I know you have some help desk experience. But something that I heard, and I
Yes.
had never heard this, all the IT guests I've had, and this is such a great way to explain it because an
Yeah.
IT person has to be the technical expert in a job, whether it's an IT place or not. But they have got to be a service oriented person. And the way it was explained to me was, I have to be the expert to a person that is not the expert. So if I'm at a bank
Right.
and their server is having problems, I have to explain to the bank vice president why the server's going down and what we can do to fix it. And I had to
Yes.
explain that to a person that is not an IT person. If somebody
Yeah.
can't do business at their station, I have to be the service person to fix that. So talk about the technical aspect is extremely important because
Yes.
IT the certification's got to be up to date. There's a lot of new technology coming all the time.
Hmm.
But you've got to be a great communicator, and you've got to be a great writer, and you've got to be a great with
Yeah.
customer service, not only for your customers but for your coworkers. So talk about the service aspect of it because we just talked a little bit about the technical aspect, but you got to be able to communicate.
You know what? You hit the point. You said everything you said there was right on point. I've been in IT now for 28 years, and one of the best things I love about it is the fact that I'm dealing with people. I love people. I'm a people person, and so with in my career, I've kind of steered towards that aspect of the business. As far as troubleshooting and stuff. But it also is great because I love documentation. And I've spent a great deal of time doing documentation. Let me tell you, that was one of the biggest things that will get you very far in this business if you're able to document things well. Because a lot of stuff, a lot of people have things up here, but it doesn't translate to other people. But if you can write this down in a way that other people can understand it, and like you can reduce I would say like the training curve from 6 months down to 3 months, you will become a valuable asset in this company if you have those skills to write and just to be able to express those things in such a way that, like you said, other people can understand. Because you start talking about, like just the HVAC or, DJ, DACP and, HTTP, you lose people, And I always, one analogy that I always use is like, okay, we're standing in the club, we got to get in there. And I relate that to like packet transferring when you're doing stuff over the network. Say, okay, you're that first packet, you got to get in, that first header. After that, the other people can get in. And that's kind of similar to like networking, And so you have to be able to, like you said, dumb it down kind of, so other people understand it. And if you can do that, I mean, the doors open up for you. You can take a person who's hostile and all of a sudden that person like, hey, I'll give this person a little bit of extra time to do some troubleshooting on the job. And let me tell you, that goes a long way when you can talk to a person and not over talk them. And let me tell you, it's been one of the best experiences that I had in my life. As soon as I learned that out early on, and that's what everybody really needs to grasp and understand about the IT business to really get ahead.
Yeah, and it really is, and we mentioned how everybody has an IT person. Here, even
Hmm.
in our school system, we have a huge technology team, all the way from
Yes.
technicians to people that again, we have people that specialize in cybersecurity for our school system because
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's always bots and people trying to steal information. A new area of
Yeah.
IT that I've recently learned about is IAM, Identity and Access Management, to make sure files are
Yes.
protected. And that is
Hmm.
more of a internal cybersecurity. So, with
Yes.
all the money that's at stake, with all the information that's at stake, and with all the way people have to do business now, whether like we said, whether some places IT business or not, they're going to need good IT people.
That is correct. And like I said, there's such a shortage of them, especially with minorities in the field too. I'm in Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, and there's not. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm pretty much always the only minority on the job, and I love to see diversity on the job. And I put myself in a position where I can fix that now. And because I've gotten my master's degree, I went back and got my master's in business, and I really go out of my way to hire women and diverse people on the job. And it's kind of cool because in the job that I'm currently at right now. I have a completely diverse team. I have people from India. I have a person that's Hmong, black, white, and even a person that's Hispanic. And a couple women. And so I really love the fact that I was able to become that person that can, like what's the word for it? Be the change you want to see in the world. I literally
Yeah.
am living that. Yeah, and it's so important because we have to show our faces and be out there and show the world that we're more than just what people like a stereotype. We're smart, and we have aspirations, and we can do what other people are doing.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because with AI growing, one of a hot topic right
Yes.
now that I don't think is being talked about mainstream enough is the amount of cultural bias in AI programming. Because,
Hmm.
like you said, if there's not a diverse group in doing the programming for AI, we're seeing it in the health related fields. IT
Yeah.
people, they are desperate to get minorities in IT and health informatics because the
Yes.
people that do the AI programming, it's not that they're evil, they're not mean, they're not racist, they're not doing it on
Yep.
purpose, but they're not going to have the same perspective of a woman. They're not going to have the
Hmm.
same perspective of a minority, and health risks are increasing because these machines are misdiagnosing people, and that
Yes.
is a huge reason on why we need diversity in the field. But as somebody that hires, you literally have people sit, whether it's virtual or in person, interview for IT jobs. As somebody that is hiring people to get into the IT field, what are the things you are looking for? Are you looking for a degree in computer science? What type of certifications are you looking for? And what type of skills are you looking for?
Yeah, that's a very good point because when I am hiring people, I'm looking for a number of things. One of the best things is a personality. That will get you farther than almost anywhere else. Now, it's important. Yes, you must have degrees. A lot of jobs nowadays they they're cutting the field in half right away because they say you have to have a 4-year degree, things of that nature. And early on, I didn't have one, but I went back, got my 4-year degree, then I went, I got my master's. But one of the biggest things, go out and get your A plus certification. There's what is it, MCDST, Microsoft Certified Desktop. That'll get you a lot of places. Get a basic certification in learning how to work with servers or networking. Nothing too complex, but just go and get that stuff, and that will get you very far in the business. Now outside of that, because I can also say, because like I said, I went back and got my master's all the way, but I've had people who said, "Man, I graduated and I didn't learn anything." I said, "Well, that's on you as a person. A school can only do so much. You have to take that initiative upon yourself to take this and implement it into real world things." That may just mean going out by finding an old cheap computer off of a Facebook Marketplace or something. But get a couple computers, put them together. Work with networking. Get your hands in there and be the change that you want to see in the world, and be the person that's marketable. Because, like I said, if you can just say those terms and relate to the person that's interviewing you, that will get you a long way. So really take the time to invest in yourself. As I say, if you're putting all this time and energy into training, make sure you actually know what you're doing and able to communicate that and sound professional and be professional.
Absolutely. And then I keep hitting this with our kids, with our other guests, but they have the
Hmm.
opportunity in high school to get IT certifications. We have a
Yes.
program where they start in either 10th or 11th grade, and then after 2 years, they graduate high school with IT certifications. And then in Mississippi, we have great community college programs that have recognized this need. They can go
Yeah.
to our community colleges here and in 9 months have IT certifications where they can start working in the field at 19 years old. So, uh,
Yes.
the need for this has been recognized by the industry, and it's never been easier to get into this field for people that are tech savvy. Now, but one thing about this, I know with kids, and I was a big gamer too. Then I got a real
Mhm.
job and couldn't do as much, but I know they enjoy the games and the gaming systems, and you can make money in game design. That's no
Yes.
doubt. But the next billion-dollar tech idea is going to be something business to business. It is going to
Yes.
be something that helps with database management, cybersecurity, things of that nature. So, as somebody in the field, and you've seen a lot of startups come and really make a name for themselves, where do you think the next great tech idea is going to come from?
That's a really good question because even in my field, in my span that I've been, I've seen things change so much. One of the biggest things that I see now, like you brought up before, was the cybersecurity. That's a huge thing. Learning, servers and stuff. That's always a good thing to learn. AI is a huge thing. Cause I always scour the internet and stuff. I'm looking for job, postings and stuff and seeing what's out there. But AI is not going away, and it's going to come on huge in the next 10 years. It's going to change everything. I've even changed my resume and stuff. I use AI for that. I say, hey, what's the best way
Wow.
to update my resume for a job title? So I gone in and let AI do that because I realized that AI is the one that's sorting through these resumes, and because I was doing it myself and I wasn't getting any traction, but I use AI to do stuff like that, and it's helped immensely. So I would say definitely don't shy away from the Chat GPT and or the Microsoft Copilots and things of that nature. Go in there and use it. And if you, especially like you were saying before, if you have a system in place where you can get some CBT, some computer-based training, take whatever you can get. I know my job right now, it frustrates me because I'm telling my guys all the time they're stuck in a job and they don't want to, they can't advance. They want to make more money. I said, you have to invest in yourself. And this company is offering you computer-based training for free. Take advantage of it. In life, if you have an opportunity like that, take it because school is like one of the last times in life that you will get anything for free. And outside of that, if your company's offering anything free like computer-based training, take it. I mean, I'm doing project management training right now just because it's free. And so
Wow.
I'm just jumping in and learning whenever I can. I did the iCloud stuff recently as well. I mean, you have to be a continual learner. Don't be stagnant because you will. I mean, if I would have just stopped, 20 years ago, I'd have like Windows 2000 certification. That's not going to get me anywhere. You have to be a continual learner and have to want to grow all the time. So, like I said, keep abreast of whatever's new that's out there, be it cybersecurity or AI, and just take that initiative to learn, learn, learn.
Absolutely. Now, we would be remiss if we
Mhm.
didn't mention how you really made a name for yourself in the last year and a half or so, because you were player 344 on the hit Netflix show. Squid Game challenge, which I absolutely loved. It was
Yep. Yeah.
something I encourage everybody to go watch it. It was fantastic. And like you said, you're the third cast member we've had, and I just love hearing how it really happened. I know you made it to the marbles, which was a great
Yes.
accomplishment itself. Member of the Gambu gang, you got to be with
Yep.
Doctor. What
Dr.
was the
Rick.
doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Rick, just so many great characters. And I know you guys filmed it in the UK. So just talk about that experience because you got to meet some incredible people and got to play the games that we see on the drama that you got to do in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, let me tell you, that could be a whole nother 10-hour talk right there. But yeah, I was shy my entire life. I decided many years ago, I said, I'm going to start doing some stuff like this. I saw it online. I applied. I luckily got through. You have to be very vibrant, when you're having your interviews and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, they flew us out to London for free. Met 494 other people that were just amazing. The behind the scenes stuff was even more exciting than the stuff you saw on TV. But like I said, we made great friends too in the process, and we got to play some great games and do some stuff. When season two comes out, it's going to be a little bit different than season one. They really scale back on some of the stuff we learned because we've already talked to a lot of people that were in season two. But yeah, season one there was just so much good stuff that was going on. Met so many good people, and like I said, the friendships that we formed have been great. I've been to Philadelphia, Arizona, Chicago. Well, Chicago's close, but and we recently were in New York. We just do these meetups all over the place and met people that I would have never ever met,
There
in
you go.
life. So, and that's really good to put yourself out there and just try. I'm in the process. I have an interview tomorrow for a game show. So I'm
Oh,
putting
cool.
myself out there. So it's something it's just kind of addicting. Once you do one, you want to try doing another. But yes, I think Squid Game is going to be the epitome of games that we played because they spent so much money on the sets. They spent over 70 million just on the sets that you saw on there, and it was just a really cool experience. Yeah, the food was horrible, but I mean everything else was pretty wild. So I mean, it was just an amazing experience all in all. And I tell people if you want to, for some people they just want to take free trips, and I mean I've been all around the world for free now, and it's on somebody else's dime, and that's great. I'm looking forward to do it again, and I'm applying to be on more shows.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if somebody doesn't want to be on reality game shows, because
Yeah.
it can be very stressful, and a lot of people
Yeah.
don't like having the camera in front of them.
Yeah.
But the thing that you can't miss out of it is the networking aspect, because, like you said, you met people you never would have met. It was
Yeah.
all about putting yourself out there. It was, to be successful in the game, you had to be sociable. I'll never forget the scene where the guy had he had the elimination power, and he goes, "I'm going to eliminate the one person that hasn't spoken to me." So
Yes.
it was,
Yes.
the networking aspect was so big of it, and then gave a platform for a lot of people like yourself. A lot of the
Hmm.
people on there were entrepreneurs. Even though they didn't maybe didn't think they were going to win, they say, "Look, I'm going to build a social media following out of this. I'm going to get customers. I'm going to get speaking engagements." And then the
Yes.
cool thing to me was getting to be around TJ Ford, and one of my favorite players of the '90s in the NBA. I
Yeah.
know he was there with you guys. So, just the amount of people from all walks of life that were there. And
Yes.
like I said, we've had Brownie on here to talk about her background. Radiga,
Yeah.
who was an entrepreneur, developing all types of cool products over there in England. So it
Yeah.
really has given so many people a great platform. And like you said, if somebody's kind of on the fence about it, why should they apply for these kind of shows? Because the thing is, well, if you go on a reality show, they're going to exploit you. They're going to make you say, they're going to twist your words. But everybody that has been on there just talked about what an enjoyable experience it was.
Yeah, that networking aspect is 100%. I mean, I know people now, like you said, from around the world. If I need someone to build a website or doctor advice, travel experience, I can go anywhere in the world now and I have somebody I can meet. Yeah, that networking experience is really great because it carries over to the real world. Always use it every opportunity you have to network because you never know. And you brought up a really good point. I think the guy's name was Jeff, and he said, "I'm voting this person out because they didn't talk much." And I remember immediately after that moment, I took the opportunity, and now mind you, I was there already talking to people, but immediately after that was over, I went and started talking just to everybody, and I made so many more friends. Just being scared. But I mean, I have friends now to this day because I said I used that specific moment to go introduce myself to more so to people. And for a lot of people, that's scary, but don't. If you come to a person and you're genuine, say, "Hey, my name is such and such, and I'm here, and I just want to learn about what you're doing." People love hearing that, and sometimes they're scared, but if you break that ice, I mean, you will break down doors. You really will in life.
Yeah, and it's all, I tell kids all the time, being able to walk in a room and introduce yourself, being able to walk in
Yes.
and say, hey, my name is so and so, here's what I can offer. Because I thought it was such a great testament to how can you work together with a great team, no matter what your background is. The Gambu gang was,
Yes.
y'all were some of the favorites of the show. Every walk of life you could imagine. And like I said, we encourage
Yes.
everybody. I'm not a huge reality TV fan, but I couldn't stop watching it. And if
Yeah.
you haven't watched Netflix, or if you haven't watched on Netflix Squid Game Challenge season 1, I encourage everybody to go watch it. It was spectacular television, and you were a
Yes.
huge part of that. Made it broader than most people. So I think you
Yeah.
had a great showing on there. Well, I do have some questions from the kids, and I'll get to
Okay.
as many as you can. Uh, here's a good. This is a good one to start with. This is Karen Queen. She's in 10th grade. One of our volleyball players here.
Okay. All
She
right.
asked, "What gave you the?" She's also a member of our band. She's a great tuba player. Forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
But she asked, "What gave you the idea to start networking?"
To start networking, to advance myself. Like I said, I'm a continual learner and I'm a continual grower. I truly am. And you have to network yourself if you want to get anywhere in the business, in any field, because you want to be seen, you want to be heard. And in order to do that, you have to network. You have to go out and take the initiative to show people that you're not scared, you're not timid. And by doing that, you form these bonds that you might not have ever had before. And you have to stick out. And if you do that, you'll stick out in other people's memory. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember this person. And maybe they can't help you, but they can turn you on to somebody else. And it truly does work. But networking is the way to go. But you have to be the type of person to break down that fear of maybe reaching out first. And yeah, this is definitely the way to go.
I like this one. This is Levi Johnson. He's in 10th grade, and
All right.
he asked, as somebody in the IT field, what would be the most common type of coding you see in the workplace?
Coding. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Because that is not my specialty. I dabbled in it in coding when it came around to the year 2K bug. But yeah, coding. Yeah, I'd really have to sit and think about that and come back, circle around to that. Because I see so much in the business, but I don't know offhand the coding aspect of it. Yeah, I'd really have to think about that one.
Interesting. I like this one. This is a question about the show. This is Ethan Cook, one of our football, basketball, and baseball players here at Velma Jackson, and he
Okay.
asked, "We all saw the Gambu gang. Was the connection you guys had as friends legit, or was it just for the show?"
It's funny you say that because it is 100% legit. Um, the way you have different variations of the story from people on the Gambu gang, but we all formed really weirdly when we were trying to do the tug of war. We thought it was tug of war,
Oh
but then we
yeah.
found out, yeah, we found out it was going to be something else. And so because it was going to be tug of war, there was like four people in line. It was the four weakest people of the Gambu gang, and nobody wanted to be in that line. I mean, we walked by it several times, and I just said, you know what? Because we had to do this within a time frame, and so I said, you know what? Forget it. This is where I lead the game. I'm just going to go jump in here, and as soon as I jumped in there, everybody else joined into that gang, and we just became a powerhouse. And but no, our bond is truly real. We still talk to this day on WhatsApp all the time. When we do meetups, we all taking pictures together, and we really love the fact that we are, like you were saying before, culturally diverse. And we're the most culturally diverse team that was on the show, and we really pride ourselves in that fact. And we take time to talk to each other all the time.
That's awesome. Here's another question about the show. This is Chandra Black. She's in 9th grade, and she asked, "What made you want to apply to be on Squid Game as opposed to another reality show?"
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to be on Netflix. That was one of my biggest goals for the longest time. Is just I just wanted to be on a Netflix show, something that's going to be seen by everybody. And then when Squid Games came out, I watched it and I was blown away by it. Because I like a little scary shows and the
Oh yeah.
intense drama. And yeah, it was just seemed like a perfect match. And so one of the secrets, if you, I didn't say this before, but if you want to be on a reality show, watch those reality sites and casting directors. And as soon as something comes out, apply right away, and you have a better chance of getting on a reality show as opposed to waiting till later. But yeah, I just wanted to be on a show that's going to be popular, and yeah, I lucked out and one of the most popular in the world.
Absolutely. Well, I got time for two more. This is
Okay.
Kyria Chambers. She's in 9th grade, and she asked, "What has been your favorite thing about being in the IT field so far?"
Without a doubt, I would say the fact of meeting people. I'm a people person, and I love the fact that in IT, everybody loves you in that field. It's not like you're pigeonholed into one area. You only meet certain people. I have a very close relationship with HR people, with all the managers, marketing, because everybody needs you. And so you're always getting invited to all their parties and getting free food. And you're just knowing everybody. And like I said, being a people person, that's really great. And your word means something. And I love the fact that you're just not an anonymous person, but you're actually taken seriously for the things that you say.
Absolutely. I got one more. This is Sidney Evans. He's in ninth grade, one of our football and baseball players here. And
Okay.
he asked, while you were on the show, what were some things you guys did to kill the time? Because it was obviously a lot of time between filming.
Oh yes. One of the biggest things we did was play games. I don't think they really showed it on the show, but you kind of became like a it seems like a convict. We took since we didn't have much, we had water bottles and we had free socks, and so people would take socks and ball them up. They would make a big ball, and from that ball, you could play soccer, you could play baseball. Volleyball was a very big thing that you could do. But yeah, since we didn't have access to technology as well, we actually had to sit and talk to people. So you'd walk around and you talk to people, you learn. But a great deal of time was spent playing games, running around. TJ, as the basketball player, he would lead people in exercises and things of that nature. But we really got a chance just to just bond on a human level and just play games and talk and get to know each other. So we spent a lot of
Wow.
our time just doing that.
That's awesome. And that's such a great point. Me and you were old enough to remember a time without technology. And I think a
Yes.
couple of people that were on the show on the interviews like, look, I'm disconnected from the outside world, but I'm enjoying
Yeah.
this aspect that we get away from. And I thought that was
Yes.
so great. The show highlighted that. But we're
Yes.
almost out of time. And we thank you
Okay.
so much for taking some time for us. But a couple things before we go. First of
Yes.
all, everybody needs to go back and watch Squid Game Challenge on Netflix season one. It was so cool and see you on there with your guys.
Yes.
I was a big fan of Maya, who won as well. I don't want to spoil
Yes.
it, but the action until then was great. Then everybody needs to watch season two. But
Yes.
uh, you talk about the need for diversity in this field.
Mhm.
And I have no problem saying this on a recording, and I said this in the interview with a magazine last year that rural areas like ourselves were left behind for decades when it came to access, when it came to resources, especially rural Black communities for the
Yeah.
longest time did not have access to technology and technology careers. And
Yes.
I understand people can only do to a certain extent what they've seen. But just because you haven't seen somebody in your family do it doesn't mean you can't do it. Just because you're the first at something doesn't mean you can't be the best at something. So as
That's
these
right.
kids are starting to make decisions as they transition out of high school into their next step, why should they really consider these technology jobs, even if their people in their community haven't done it themselves?
You have to be a leader. You have to step out and just say, I'm going to do something different because I'll guarantee you, if you take the time to invest in yourself and learn in this field, you will go places in this field. You'll have the money to take those, you'll have disposable income. You can take those vacations. When you have a child, you can support your child. You can take care of them. I have three daughters. My youngest is 17. I'm going to be a senior this year.
Wow.
And let me tell you, you can take care of your entire family. Don't go for that quick money or with the quick allure and things of that nature. Go for the long game because this one you'll be safe. You don't have to worry about outside influences that can put you somewhere that maybe you don't want to be. But yeah, it is the way to go. Like I said, I'm the first person in my family that was able to graduate from college. I inspired. A matter of fact, five of my friends, I got them to go back to college, and they're all doing
Wow.
better now. Education goes a long way. Take that time to invest in yourself, and don't be afraid to be a leader because I'll guarantee you, it will take you places that you never thought it would take you.
Absolutely. Well, again, we thank you so much for fitting this in your schedule. My man, player 344, Robert Kelly, all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. You guys take care.
I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yep. Bye.